back to another episode of Detonation. Look, we have Sofya Skya. She's a Hollywood actress, and she's here to make a very big impression on Detonation. Welcome all the way from Russia, Sofya. It's so nice to have you on. You're such a cool person. I only just met you, and
Hi,
already we're having fun.
hi. I'm very glad to be there in Australia.
Yeah. G'day, and the kangaroos and the koalas all say hello. So hello from all the kangaroos and koalas down here. It's very
That's
nice.
that's what you guys are famous for. We have bears and vodka. You have kangaroos.
But both of which I like as well. I like bears and vodka. I do. Uh, so so tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a Hollywood actress, a ballerina, and you're here to do some good in the world. You're here to spruce some stuff. But before we can talk about what good you can do, who are you?
Well, I'm Sofia, and my first profession I was a ballerina, which is to be a Russian ballerina. It's a big thing. And then I moved to LA and I studied acting, and I had like 16 roles in the United States. And then I came back to Russia and I realized that here in Russia we don't have, those studios where I could practice my acting while I'm back home with where my parents are and my brother and my friends. And so I decided to open up a school there in Russia and to bring what I've learned in the United States for 7 years being there back home. And so I'm just a very motivated person, and hardworking, and I'm a dreamer.
I like all of those things, and it's nice to actually make it in Russia because Russia is probably one of the hardest places to make it in because it's the home of, it's pretty much the home of ballerina and art and big orchestral music, and you have a long history with that, so that's very very cool. And how are your toes nowadays? Because you have to do those point right, those point dances. I mean, how's your feet? Are they a bit sore, or you get a massage, or what?
I'm doing pretty good for professional, pretty good. They're not so bad. But yes, there was time where I was all in blood. We were rehearsing for 4 hours, and even though I had blood all over my shoes, they would continue to say, do it again and do it again. So, yes.
You're, that's what
It
you
was a,
said. You're a hard worker, and that's good. It's really 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 lovely.
yeah.
And you mentioned just then, uh, you know, you're transitioning a lot between two different cultures, the United States and Russia, right? And we were just talking in the pre-chat that you're into holograms. Why are you into holograms?
Well, because I'm making this school here, and I'm trying to explain to Russian people that our school is more theatrical, and that Hollywood movies are my favorite. And so holograms would be a great solution for me to bring my friends over to Russia without putting them on the plane, and to ask them to explain the technique that I'm talking about here. And I mean that I think it's going to be very soon. I hope so. Holograms is amazing. I mean, can
Yeah.
you imagine? You now, if we're speaking with Skype, um, how wonderful would it be for me just to sit next to you instead of just being on the screen?
I'm going to endorse that notion. I think that's a great idea. And we were just having a quick sneaky look at some of the new cool hologram technology, and you were impressed.
I was shocked. I saw a woman dancing on stage, and right next to her, that there is another woman, but like amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Rabbit Roger. Do you remember that movie?
Hmm.
Roger. So, I thought it's just in the movie, but now it's a real thing. This is
Absolutely.
amazing.
So I've got some questions here for you. How do you balance acting and ballet?
Hmm. Ah, oh, it's all just training stuff. You have to. For me to lose my professional as a ballerina is would be a shame. It's to spend so much time on that. And then just because I switched my profession to stop doing that. So I'm mixing it, and ballet helps me a lot in my acting career. First of all, it's a discipline. And then because of ballet, I can get more parts in the movies as a dancer. And in the action movie, it helps a lot because I can do some kicks that nobody else could have done. You can see in one of my movies called The Associate Round with Christian Slater, all the fights I do myself, and there is no stunts and stuff, but it looks amazing. And I enjoy it so much. Everything that has to do with movement, I love a lot. But just to show it to somebody who's in a small audience in the theater would be a shame. So I decided, why don't I show it to the world? The skills. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, I had a look at your work there, and wow, you've done some really cool stuff. Yeah, I'm not the biggest movie buff in the world. I spend way too much time sitting on this show talking about global policy and stuff. But you know, I did go through. I made sure I was like, oh yeah, this is and wow, you're a really hard worker, and there's some really epic stuff in there. And I really want people to go and have a look. How was your ballet background influence you and your roles in movies?
Well, one of my biggest parts was about a Russian ballerina that is getting to a bad situation. She got, her husband got killed, and her daughter was kidnapped, and she's in prison, and then she has to, you know, fight through it and save her daughter. And that part I got because I was a ballerina and an actress at the same time. And also in CSI New York, the role that I got has movements and dance, and I was cast for Black Swan for the role of Mila Kunis, and one day I was dark at that time, black hair, and I just got too tall. And so there's lots of movies that you can get cast as a dancer and an actress as well. So.
Yeah, that's. I was
Yes,
actually.
that's the secret.
Have you ever done Swan Lake?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about
I
that.
did.
I'm going to throw that question in there because I'm interested.
Well, you have to be very light and skinny. No food, no chocolate. 4 hours a day you train, and it's a partnering work. It's a theater work. You have to be in the theater, and lots of rehearsals. I remember that time, but it's not the best memories that I've got. It's a lot of work. So, and but I'm excited I did that. I guess it's the goal for all the ballerinas to have that part. If you dance that, it means you for real did that.
We have
was
You're for real. I
six.
love it.
Well, lots of people say I'm a ballerina and they don't know how to dance a Swan Lake.
Yeah.
It's
So
a big
that's
experience.
the judgment. That's the test. That's whether you make it or not.
And in that movie, White Swan, Associate Run, I played. I mean, you can see some pictures from that ballet from Swan Lake. So my character is dancing Swan Lake in the movie.
Ah, there you go. So actually, that's a good segue because what is your favorite role to play in a movie, and is there any character that you've ever really wanted to play?
I love comedy. I do. I think it's a great thing to make other people smile, and I would want to play something, you know, funny and so far from my own character, something to play with. Um, I love my work, and I find interesting in all the characters. And as hard as they are, as more interesting it is for me. You know, as far my character is from me, it's more interesting. So I like commitment.
Yeah, that's interesting because some people, you know, they like to play characters that are very close to what they are in real life because that's easy. And some people, some actors have gone into like, you know, they've become too much of a character and they've gone into a dark place sometimes. You know, so that's kind of interesting that you like to play with that world. That's pretty cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I find it to try different stuff is exciting me. Like it excites me to go for risk, to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. You know, to
Yeah,
hit that stage to me means I'm moving on.
that's awesome. So what are some of the differences that you've seen between the Russian and American acting schools?
Oh, that's plenty of differences. Um, I don't want to criticize anything, but I find that here we got stuck to the old times, to one family or two family, Chekhov and Stanislavski, and everything goes around that. And the world is changing. World is moving all the time. There's lots of new things, and people's reactions on those things are different from what it was before. We cannot be stuck to the success that somebody else had for us a long time ago. I think we should find something different, new, interesting, to be in one level with the generation that are coming. It's all different. We should not say like to be a good or smart person, you need to read books. Do not read, on your phone. But it's different life, different kids, different generation, and we need to move, to move with them and teach the way it is today. And in the United States, I think it's more real to the time that we're living at. It's more real. It's right here. Your partner is right here. You're right here. It's not the idea of how it should be. It's just there.
Do you
That's
think
the
that
main difference.
Do you think that's because the United States is a little bit of a younger country and they don't have so much to look back on, and so they're a little bit more like acceptive of?
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely, and they're not scared to try. I think
yeah, that
to
that's for sure. They go almost too far sometimes, but you can never go too far in art. So that's good. So,
they
have
have a
you?
choice there.
Yeah. Have you got any quotes that inspire you that, when everyone's feeling down or they're feeling happy, have you got any quotes that you like to draw on for inspiration?
Well, the quads. Explain again. Um, well, for my inspiration, I use music, for example.
Oh, very
If
good.
that's the question. Music that brings me to a comfortable atmosphere,
Yeah.
something like that.
Do you like a bit of classical or a bit of the lady I had on before? She likes some techno, like house music. What are you into?
Well, it depends on what I'm prepping for. My preparations for, a sad situation, I'll choose something that reminds me of a sad stories from my life. And if I need to feel, rocky, it's going to be a rock. So,
So you like to
uh,
build the theme of your life.
actors, they don't. Yes, I don't have anything particular because that's my job. I need to change.
Mm.
I need to be like like a material. Um, and I cannot hate anything and I cannot love anything particular so much. I'll find a way uh, to deal with all of that, all the music.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. As a music fan, I'm totally on board with that as well. What's your favorite? Here's a trick question. What's your favorite city? Moscow, LA, or Saint Petersburg?
St. Petersburg.
What?
I was born there. I love St.
Ah,
Petersburg. And St. Petersburg is always happy to see me. This is the place where I'm legally, you know, uh, how do I say, it, where I came from. I'm a citizen of that city.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
all the rights. I was born there. Well, I love all of them. Los Angeles is my place of growth as a person. Moscow is my place where I work, and my son is here, and my family. And but my favorite is St. Petersburg.
That's very nice. I like.
Thank you.
I'd like to get over to Russia at some point as well and check it all out. You know, the probably the closest Russian city I could get to cheaply is probably Vladivostok.
Oh, that's so far from Moscow. It's like eight
Yeah,
hours on the
yeah.
plane.
It's on this side of the world.
Mm.
I know. It's probably
Just
not.
guests in Moscow.
Yeah. If I ever come to Moscow, I'll come to visit you and say hello. I got a bunch of friends in Moscow, so I'll come and say hi.
And I'll show you the city
All right. Cool.
from
And
the
say,
best view.
Absolutely. I need it too. I need it. And I'll say hello to Victoria while I'm there as well. She wants me to ask you here, do you believe that you'll be acting with robots in the near future and or holograms and or, you know, all these other innovations that are coming down the pipeline?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that I could have played with the robot. Well, it's been done long ago with what was the movie very first? Господи, Terminator.
Mm,
Terminator,
Terminator. Yep.
for example, they played with that. Yes, I believe that soon actors will not be needing. We're gonna lose our job.
Yeah.
Probably, but yes, it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in historically, they've been playing with toy robots for a long time in sci-fi and other genres. It's not, yeah, it's they've been getting ready. They just never had the technology. But
Yeah.
now, you know, now like we saw just before, I mean, they're merging. It's coming together, big as a beautiful sort of duo.
Yeah, it's like we can imagine somebody play with just an empty wall and imagining that person. Now with holograms, you should not imagine that it's even easier if it's gonna come. Or if you rehearse somewhere else and your partner cannot come, you can rehearse with him in the room because of the hologram. It's an amazing thing for improvement in acting.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely. Absolutely. What is your favorite innovative trend in cinema production today?
Oh, wow. That's hard to say. Uh, Me personally, mm, I prefer more of a real stories and real things. So innovating, I don't know. Now all of my imagination in holograms, and I like to watch movies with when people are flying. That was my dream in the childhood to know how to fly. So, well, anything as long as it has a meaning and a
Hmm.
goal.
Hmm. Yeah, Avatar. Have you seen the movie Avatar? That was pretty cool.
Yes,
It was
that's amazing. Yeah.
lots of flying, lots of technology, holograms. You know, cool super weapons, Terminator style. Uh, you got everything in that movie. I mean, that was a pretty cool movie. I like that.
And the story was simple, but that movie is really amazing.
Yeah, and it has a very
Very touched.
solid message.
Mm, I agree.
Have you seen Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, I, Robot, Ex Machina, The Seven Sisters, etc.? And would you like to take part in any of those movies?
Oh, yes, absolutely. To be a part of any of those would be a great thing for me and a great challenge as well. Um, it's very interesting to work with something that are not exist. It that's where we use our instrument as an actors uh, even more. So yes, that would be wonderful.
That's cool. You're a really optimistic person. Could you tell us your secret to optimism?
Oh, thank you. uh, well, I guess I believe in Santa Claus still.
I like it. That's a really good answer actually. I like that a lot. I like that. That's a really good answer. So, yeah. But
Thank you.
But yeah, that's a perfect answer. I can't flaw that. I can't fault it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just believe
I know
I
exactly
believe
what you
in
mean.
miracle, and I do really believe in that. I live like in the movie, and everything what is happening to me, bad or good, I watch from distance as if somebody was shooting me, and then I prefer to feel like, okay, it happened to me, and everything becomes funny and not that real. So.
That's awesome. How is working with other people like Kristen Slater and a whole bunch of other people that you worked with? How was working with those people? Did you have fun? Were they annoying? Did they have bad eating habits? I mean, what happened?
It was boring because it was so professional. We didn't have a chance to speak with each other or have fun or any of those. We were just working. And it's a good experience to me to understand how to get a good result in the end. It's not to pay attention to anything what is not has to do with the picture on set. So great. Now I know that I shouldn't hear anybody before the take. I should concentrate on my own thing because they're speaking, asking questions, giggling, doing whatever, but not what you need to be concentrating on. And it's our responsibility not to get interrupted with our own preparation.
That's some veteran. That's some veteran speaking there. Who was your favorite? Who's the biggest star you've worked with?
Biggest star, you mean who I worked with the most famous?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I worked with Wes Bentley, Eric Roberts, Michael Madsen. I worked with Christian Slater and with Tom Sizemore and who else? Who else was there? Well, there's some big actors, very known, and Mark Dacascos, he just got a Joe Wick third, the premiere. I was very happy to see him there. Um, I think they're all stars. They're all stars to me, but also they're my partners. And do you know any of them in Australia?
I'm not sure if they live here. They're definitely very famous actors. We consume a lot of Hollywood in Australia, so I'm sure that those names resonate with a lot of the audience. Absolutely, yeah, I think so. I'm not the best. I don't know too much about Hollywood and all that sort of stuff. Again, I spend most of my time reading books and and boring stuff like that, and talking to people on this show. But I know the audience knows exactly who you're talking about, and that's kind of embarrassing. But it's just yeah, I'm too busy in hologram world or saving the environment or something like that. I got another question. What is your biggest career challenge so far?
Career challenge. My biggest career challenge. Well, I don't know. I think acting in movies and teaching. Um, just do what I love to do, and do it the best. And if you do it really and do it talented, then the challenge is gonna come itself, I think.
Fantastic. And the final question I have for you is, what's your goal for this year? What are you going to do? I mean, let's say this year is like halfway through or a little bit over. I mean, this year and maybe next year as well.
Well, it's going to be a very busy year because we're opening our company, the Real Art Studio, and also I'm a part of 2 movies already booked this year. So it's going to be very busy and very interesting. I'm going to meet new people, work with them on set, and I'm going to teach a lot this year. So my dream came through. I built this studio and it's done. So very soon we're going to have the opening. I'm very excited about that.
I hope it goes really, really well, and I hope you enjoy teaching. I think that would be really, really cool. They say you learn the most when you're teaching, right? So you're probably going to learn a lot coming up very, very shortly, and that'll be really cool. Not that you already know a lot, obviously. And that'll be good. But teaching is a whole new experience because you have to know everything really well in order to convey it to other people.
Exactly.
And yeah, and all the best with your art, with your studio. That sounds really fantastic. And what's the movies called that you're? Oh, are we allowed to know that? What's the movies called that you're got a role in?
Haha. No, no, no. We'll see.
All
So
right.
follow my Instagram.
Yeah, I'll jump on your Instagram and I'll keep up to date with you, and I'll make sure Victoria sends me the inside info.
Yes,
All
very
right.
soon.
All right, fantastic. Hey, Sophia, it's so good to have you on Detonation. Yeah, it's been wonderful. And like I said, like yeah, you worked hard for your school and your position, and it's nice to see that you can give back to the community in a way that you're going to teach people. You're going to push forward with innovation. You're going to teach. You're going to give back, and not that you haven't already given.
Share.
Yeah, share. It's not that you haven't already given so much already, but to go even further is it's so good to have you on the show. To such an amazing person.
Thank you very much. And yes, to share what I know is a pleasant thing to me.
Yeah,
Also to communicate with people.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So from Australia, we say thank you very much.